Yeah, so and you're still in that nice cafe background.
Well, it hasn't changed. It just popped up, so it must just stay on the same one now that I put it on there once. So apparently I am. I'm still in a hotel lobby in Melbourne. That is. So
Is it a photo that you yourself took, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is. It's from Ibis Hotel in a suburb called Glen Waverley, which is about 20 minutes by train from Melbourne CBD. We often stay there because it's a little bit cheaper than staying in the city. So you can get it for about $125 a night because it's out of the city, where in the city it's $250 a night. And there's a cap on public transport, so the most it costs you is $10 a day. So you can go back in and out of the city for $10, and it's probably 20 minutes into the city and 20 minutes back out, so it makes it a little bit more affordable sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. So, in general, with regards to Melbourne, how public transport is pretty good there, as far as I can recall.
Yeah, it's like there's trams and trains and buses. So it's feasible. And where this hotel is, there's a train station about 200 metres away. So it's and it's at the end of the line. It's got its own line to this suburb called Glen Waverley. So so it takes you straight into Flinders Street Station, and away you go. So so I've stayed there a couple of times in the last 12 months. So depends what's on in Melbourne. If you go on a busy weekend when there's football on or concert or something like that, hotel prices go through the friggin' roof. So what they call it, dynamic pricing or whatever they call it, where things go up as required and back down.
That's something we can discuss today, because dynamic pricing is a thing of the devil, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, but first, before we forget, because I already started the recording. To the listeners, welcome to Southern Summers and Northern Winters, and we are back after a few weeks, 3 weeks, Mark.
3 weeks again,
because you were traveling.
It's been a start-stop year, hadn't it?
Yeah. You were in Thailand. We're going to talk about that as well.
I was in Thailand, yes.
Yeah. So, and how was that? Let's start there, Mark. How was it? Just you and Beck,
it was
right?
Hot.
No kids?
Yeah, it was hot. No kids. We were there for about 15 days. It is wet season over there, so I wouldn't say the weather was fantastic. It was hot every day, though, of course. Every day it was 30, feeling like 36. But there was a fair bit of rain going on a few of the days that we were there, which really doesn't bother me that much because I'm not someone who goes to the beach a lot in Thailand, to lay on the beach. So that didn't really upset me a great deal, the weather. So it was good. We went to Koh Phi Phi, which is an island off Phuket. So that was probably the highlight. I only went there for 2 nights. Probably should have stayed there longer, but it was quite an experience getting a fast speedboat over there in a rough weather. So it was bouncing around all over the place.
Wow. Is that those speedboats? Are those the ones? There are the ones with 4 engines at the end,
yes, that's
really
one.
Powerful. It's not one of those where they sort of have like a long sort of pipe going out and just stirring the water. It's more that's the more traditional boats, I guess.
Yeah, it's more the traditional one, but I did go on one of the ones you were talking about that has the long wooden engine at the back.
Yeah.
But the ones that take you to Koh Phi Phi, because I think it was about 20 kilometres off the coast. So it took an hour to get over there on this speedboat that had like 3 massive Honda engines on the back of it. These boats fit, just as a guess, I probably should have counted. I would say they probably fit around 30 people, 30 or 40 people, these long speedboats. They're maybe about about 10 metres long and, probably about 3 metres wide or so, like that. And so they stack a heap of people on them and they put the throttle down and off they go in,
Yeah.
generally no matter what weather. So it was a little bit choppy the day we went, a little bit rough. There was a bit of wind, there was a few waves, and one of the engines decided to stop halfway. So we had to sit around out in the middle of the ocean for about 10 minutes while they did some maintenance on
Oh, okay.
one of the engines before
Did they fix
we.
it?
Yeah, they did. It got it working again. So before they continued on, I'd say they probably get a fair bit of use because I think they just go non-stop, like back and
Yeah.
forth, like back
And I
and
guess
forth.
because you say it was bumpy, I guess no matter what weather, that particular experience is always a bit bumpy
Yeah,
because they go so
yeah,
fast and
yeah.
the boat sort of jumps on the water normally.
It,
Yeah.
it does. Like
Yeah.
it was probably I would say it was rougher than usual because they were
Okay.
having to start and stop like there'd be a swell, so they would back off the accelerator because there was going to be a big
Yeah.
jump coming and things like that. So I didn't mind it. I actually found it quite. I wouldn't say exciting, but it it feeds into my sense of a bit of adventure
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah.
You know what I
You do
mean?
it.
So
You do enjoy those kind of speedy
yeah, I
rides.
do.
Yeah.
Like I do. I enjoy that sort of stuff when traveling because that's what travel's all about. I think
Yeah.
is a little bit of
I
a little
agree.
bit of adventure and a bit of excitement and something that you wouldn't normally do. So that was good. We bounced over to this island called Koh Phi Phi. Only a small island. I don't think I'd want to go there in summer because I think it would be absolutely chaotic because,
Yeah.
yeah, in parts it's probably only, I would say, maybe 200 metres wide, but it's probably about 500 to 600 metres long, and it's in the section where people stay. It's sort of two mountains at either end, and then there's a whole flat section in the
Yeah.
middle, and there's a bay on each side of this little island. So it sort of looks like I don't know, a horseshoe on each
Yeah.
side of it, and there's land
Yeah.
in the middle, and the middle land in the middle is obviously this chock-a-block full of hotels, restaurants, bars, whatever is built up there. So when we were there, I wouldn't say it was overly crowded, but I think if you were there in the height of summer, it sort of reminds me of a European old town in the sense that there's a lot of alleyways and skinny streets that are lined with shops that are going off
Yeah.
in every possible direction. So I think if you're there in summer, it would be crazy. But when we were there, it was quite nice. So we only spent maybe 48 hours there, I think. So we got there like 1 o'clock in the afternoon after 25 hours travel from
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 Melbourne.
Melbourne in the end, and headed straight to a bar, obviously, as you do,
Yeah.
overlooking the water, and had a few drinks. So day one was, well, half of day one was pretty much a ride off, and then on the second day we booked a longboat with the engine, like you said, on the end of the stick,
Yeah.
that takes you out to some islands. So the most popular thing to see out of Koh Phi Phi is the beach that the Leonardo DiCaprio movie
Yeah. Yeah.
was filmed at, called Maya Bay. It's called. So it's the most popular thing that people go and see. So we headed out there. Luckily, we headed out early because if you go there later on in the day, it's just crazy, full of people. But you can't actually swim there anymore because over tourism killed all the coral and everything that was in this bay.
Oh.
Because the boats used to come into the bay frontwards and people would get out, and and it sort of destroyed the underwater ecosystem that was there. So now they've built a floating pontoon on the other side of the island. So if you get off the boat and the water's rough, you're trying to walk along this
Oh man.
floating pontoon that's going like that. So we got off there, and they then charge you. I think it costs 400 baht, which was maybe, I don't know, $16 Australian. That's meant to go towards conservation fees for this
Yeah.
bay and this island. And so we were there at 9 o'clock in the morning, which was really good because there was maybe only a dozen people there at that stage. So it was quite nice. quite a nice beach, just a beach in the end. When you see
Yeah, yeah.
when you've been to plenty of beaches, it's just
It's
another beach.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, and I can imagine, PP Island and the beach as location. I can imagine it's sort of, if you travel in season, that's probably.
Yeah,
I mean, on PP Island, I've been there as well, and I don't recall it as being particularly big.
yeah.
So I can imagine that, I don't know, a few thousand guests probably is the max, or I don't know, but
I
it's that
well,
small.
say more.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much just congested from one end of the island to the other end.
yeah,
Where there's flat land, there's now something built on it, literally. So
yeah.
yeah, but I like I said, I quite enjoyed it because it was pretty picturesque out there, and the water's blue and all that. So yeah, so we took this boat to the beach, and then just around the other side is another little bay that we went to and did some swimming there, and then he took us to another spot off a place called Monkey Bay, where we did some snorkeling. Plenty of fish, lots of fish. Really good spot to go snorkeling, like fish like right in your face, swimming around and
Okay, so
things
the
like that.
ecosystem
So
the
yeah, quite
ecosystem was okay there.
eco, yeah, because there was no, even though he said it was this. It was off Monkey Bay, so we were sort of up around the corner, but there was no real beach there. It sort of just came down on a
Okay,
cliff face
yeah.
into the water, so no one could actually get in there. So yeah, so that was probably actually my highlight of the whole trip was the couple of days we spent on Koh Phi Phi, and then we headed back to Phuket, and we didn't get the speedboat. There is actually a ferry that you can get that takes twice as long, takes 2 hours, but it is like a big size ferry, not probably a Baltic Sea ferry size, but I would say it probably fitted 500 people. So
Okay, yeah.
it was a decent sized ferry. It had three decks in
Hmm.
it, and it took 2 hours to get back. So it was a little bit slower, but I actually quite enjoyed that too because there was an open deck up the top. There was a bar on board, so I can grab the beer and sat up on the open deck and watched all the islands in between as we cruised back to Phuket. So yeah, no, it was quite a good experience as well. But it only goes once a day. The slow
Yeah,
ferry, whereas the speedboats there's multiple companies running them, every half an
yeah.
hour or every hour or something like that. So your option is that you either have to go, at this one time to get on the ferry, or otherwise you just roll up at Rasada Pier in Phuket and grab a ticket on the next available fast boat that's taking you to PP. I
And
guess so.
those speedboats, I mean, you booked them yourselves. You didn't go on a all inclusive trip. It was yeah.
No. I just got on. There's a website called One Two Go, and it specialises in Asia. Basically, you can book ferries and buses and trains. So
Okay.
a bit like Omeo, or one of the ones that run, one of the big ones that run in all around the world. But this one is mainly in Asia. So I've used it before plenty of times. So they generally have all the ferries and things like that. So I just booked it on there and rolled up at the pier an hour beforehand and went and seen the person at the desk and gave us a ticket, said sit down here and someone will come and get you when it's time to go.
Okay.
So yeah. So
So it's
that
pretty
easy.
easy.
And I did the same
Yeah.
with the return ticket. Yeah, very easy. Did the same with the return ticket, booked them both in Australia well in advance of leaving, and yeah, so and it just worked fine. Just rolled up to the pier at PP at 10:30 for the ferry at 11 o'clock, and boarded, and away we went. So yeah, so that was good. And then we went back to Phuket, and we went to this place called Kamala Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know, for anyone who's been to Phuket, Patong is probably the main area. Kamala Beach is mainly probably only 5 to 10 kilometres away. It's just up around the corner and over a hill, but it's a much more it's a much quieter area. It probably more
Yeah.
suits family and couples than it
Exactly.
does the
Yeah.
party scene of Patong. So we stayed at a massive big resort there called Sun Prime, which was right on the beach, which I think probably 90% of the clientele would have been Russian and German.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this package holidays because I've seen a TUI representative there, and and things like this. So big package deal resort for Europeans, I guess.
And lots of
So
pools
yeah, so we
and
stayed
stuff like that.
lots of pools, about 4 pools. You know, 2 restaurants, plenty of pool bars. You know, all the stuff that you would expect for vacationers,
Yeah.
I guess, which is not greatly my scene. I probably never stayed at a resort that big for that long before, and I don't know. I'd probably be hesitant to do it again, not for any other reason except that I probably got bored. I'm not a sit by the pool person all day and read a book and that sort of
Yeah,
thing. Like
no,
it's yeah.
me
And
neither.
everyone
That's
has their
just,
own travel style.
yeah. At the beginning of our world trip way back when, we were advised by the travel agency where we bought the round the world tickets. They had some experience with round the world travelers, and they said
Yep.
to us, they asked us what kind of people we were, and we were very
Yeah.
we like to see stuff, and
Yeah.
get around and see local folklore and stuff. But they said, because we had a very stressed life back in Copenhagen before we went on this trip,
Yeah.
and they said, when you travel that long, we recommend that you start with like just crashing somewhere, getting down,
Yeah.
getting your pace down,
Yep.
your pulse down. So they recommended actually Thailand and
Yeah.
Phuket, and we went
Yeah.
there for about a month, and it did work. But
Yep.
after like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I was really now I need to get some action. And then we went
Yeah.
to Bangkok for a week, and then we went on to Australia. But it's nice to stay there. So I can absolutely relate to if you only have like 2 weeks and you really want to wind down and
Yeah.
just relax. It's the perfect spot. It really is.
Yeah. Definitely.
But
Definitely.
more than
And
I'd say 2 weeks, three at
yeah.
tops. Then it's.
Yeah. And this place was perfect because there was no other big resorts on the beach except this place. In front of it, there's like a beach path that's maybe a kilometre long, leads to the centre of town that
Yeah.
way, and at the other end that leads to, I don't know where it led to. It sort of came to an ending and went into some streets. But there's some bars and restaurants along the beach, along this little strip area there. And you'd find that most people you would see, they would get up and, there'd be like a food hall breakfast. There'd be 500 people trying to get breakfast in this one restaurant,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and then you'd see the same people every day sitting by the pool, or going out for a walk up to the beach, go for a walk on the beach. Yeah, so, look, I must say, yeah, it's not for me, but, it's for other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
Absolutely
not
not.
greatly what I like. Like I found I spent most days, I'd get up, I'd go for a walk along the beach.
Yeah.
While Rebecca was asleep, or I'd go into the main town area, which was probably 300 metres away, and go to 7-Eleven and get coffee or something like that, and then I'd come back, wake Rebecca up. We'd go for breakfast. We'd go back to our room, talk about what we're going to do for the day, which in the end, most afternoons ended up in pool drinking, cocktails. And then come evening, we'd go for a wander and find somewhere to eat for dinner. Actually, it was really good. There was a night market. The big night market was just out the back of this hotel, so that was handy too. But yeah, so after 8 days of pretty much just doing the same thing every day, I was pretty much done with it. I was keen to move on to Patong, where there was a little bit more action, I guess, on the streets. So really nice resort though. Food was nice, staff were nice, pools were nice. Everything was nice about it. But yeah, you've just got to be that type of person who loves the sun or loves the beach, And
Yeah.
And I think because I come from a place where the beach is not far, and I spent a lot of time at the beach as a teenager and a kid, that the beach is not a great attraction for me. It's not a make or break destination, and I don't very often go swimming in the beach, even when we are there. Like there was tons of people swimming in the beach, tons of Europeans. They love the beach, Didn't
Yeah.
swim in the pools. Most of them went to the beach, but not for me. I'd swim in the pool instead of the beach because I hate the sand. So,
Yeah, yeah. I have this thing. I
so
need
yeah,
to if the water's not clear, I don't enjoy it.
yeah,
I have to be able to
yeah.
see my feet, and I have to be
See the
able to see
bottom. See your
what's
feet.
below.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it was so it was quite good. Like I said, the
Did you
resort was
go
nice,
to
but just not my thing.
Did you go to the old town of Phuket?
I did go to the old town of Phuket, and I found that actually we were disappointed. We would have liked to have stayed there, and we didn't go there till the very last day before we left.
Okay.
Funnily
Yeah.
enough, we were sitting around because there was a lot of rain and had been coming around, and we got to the last day, and I'm like, geez, we haven't really done all that much, have we? Like, we're sort of just lazed around most days and gone for a walk and eat food and drink alcohol. And,
Yeah, yeah.
had a real bugging holiday, as I would call it. So we did go to Phuket Old Town and found it really, really nice. Actually, we
It
stumbled
is.
upon this Michelin listed hole in the wall restaurant that served this award winning noodle and beef soup, much like a pho in Vietnam, or a pho or whatever they like to officially pronounce it as. So we had 2 bowls of this beef noodle soup and 2 iced teas, and it cost me about $8 Australian, or about €4.50. Like, fantastic value, and it was the best meal we had in Phuket the whole time we were actually there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was okay. So this resort we stayed at, it was part of the package that I booked originally to get us there. So it included, the airfares and this resort for 8 days, and a day tour that we went, half a day tour that we went. They took us to some area on the island that had some temples. It was like I don't know what it was, but yeah. So they took us to this temple area, and then we went to an elephant place on the hill behind Patong, which was quite nice actually, because I'm a bit iffy about animal experiences in Asia,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
yeah,
sometimes a hit, and sometimes they're a horrible miss.
yeah.
I've
I
been to a few
agree.
places
Yeah, yeah.
that I wouldn't care to go back to ever again. But this place was just a small. It was just like, it was on top of a hilltop. It was run by volunteers. They had 4 elephants there, and they weren't chained up or anything like that. They weren't forced into cages at night. When some guy said, "How do you keep them in?" And they said, "Well, we've got a couple of dogs, and they sit at the end of the road, so to stop them from going down into Phuket town. Other than that, they can go like on the property." So it was a quite
Okay.
nice little experience to see some elephants in, that are not caged or anything like that. Because yeah,
Yeah,
Thailand's a bit of a hit and a miss, a bit of a hit and a miss
yeah. It is.
for that. But we've been to a couple of elephant places in Thailand, and both of them have been quite good. The ones we went and seen, no mistreatment, no chains, no cages. But there is other things. Like there's a tiger show on Phuket Island. I didn't care to go see that just in case, because I'd been to a zoo in Thailand before where there was tigers that looked like they were really, drugged up so people could get photos and things like that. So that was one of the things we did one day. Well, like we said, we went to Phuket Old Town another day, but we just went to Patong for 4 days, went to Bangalore Road, which is like I don't know, like the red light district, I guess, or the party street, or the pedestrian mall, whatever you like to call it. Has bars, restaurants, strip shows, girls dancing out on the street, that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
Just the tourist area that makes a bit of money, and other than that, they spent more time in the pool at the hotel there at Holiday Inn, and yeah, so it was okay. I wouldn't say I would be in a hurry to go back to Phuket, or that I would possibly ever go back to Phuket. Not because I don't like it, but I just don't think there's not much there that mainly appeals to what I like. So,
No.
I'm not saying I'd ever go back there, but I couldn't see myself on purpose planning a trip to Phuket. If I was in Thailand for an extended amount of time, or maybe I would go back to Phuket, but yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
just plan a trip to Phuket. Put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we also enjoyed our time there, but it's not like, if you sun and beach and
Yeah.
relaxation, you can get that in Europe as well.
Yeah.
The
That's
food
dead
is
right.
nice in Thailand. I got to give them that.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's
Yeah.
why I couldn't understand why there were so many Europeans there at this time of year, because it's summer over there, isn't it? So I would suspect that, like in December, you might come to
Yeah,
Thailand, like
yeah.
when it's freezing. Like,
Europeans pretty much go there all the time, all year round.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I don't get
absolutely
why
tons of
we
it.
would go in the summer though. It's because, as you say,
No,
it's extremely hot. It's much hotter than it is in
yeah,
Europe. But
yeah.
there are some Europeans who can't get enough of heat, so they seek the extreme.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
Actually, I should correct myself. I will go back to Phuket only because I want to go to some more of the islands off there. So I'll have to
Oh
go
yeah.
back there
Yeah.
to catch a boat. So I shouldn't say I'll
Yeah.
never go back there, but I want to go to Koh Lanta and a couple of the other islands at some stage that are off the coast there. And obviously Phuket is the launching pad. Some of them you can go the other side. You can go off Krabi, which is
Yeah.
on the other side of the bay, which is not on Phuket. But yeah, so I definitely do have some intention of going back to do a few of the islands again at some stage because I
Yeah.
liked PP. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
so that
but
pretty much
The
wraps up
Thai
my
people
time.
are extremely nice
Yeah,
and
extremely
friendly and
nice and
yeah,
friendly. Yeah, and it's cheap. Like Thailand is so cheap. Like if
yeah,
you to do the sort of holiday we just did, I think I had a budget of like $3,000 spending money, so $200 a day. That's probably my standard budget when I go most places. 150, 200, except for maybe Europe. That doesn't buy me much in euros or pounds.
yeah. That's true. Yeah,
But anywhere in Asia, and I think so. We had $3,000, and I think we came back with 1,400 of it. So we only spent about
really. Wow.
$1,600, about $100 Australian a day, and when I broke down my budget, I've got an app where I try and record everything we spend. I think we spend like 49% of our budget on alcohol. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so
And
yeah,
then
but just
just like a daily curry, a chicken curry or something, and then you're
yeah,
good.
just so cheap. Like you go down to go down to the local restaurant, and you could get like like a Thai basil, so pork mince with basil, and has a bit of curry and a bit of coriander in it, and they chuck
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fried egg on top and some rice. Next to like $4 Australian, like €2, 2.50.
yeah,
If you want to eat that sort of thing. So yeah, like pretty cheap, and even when I say we drank a lot, I'm a happy hour person. So, 4 to 7 is sort of my time frame. And if
yeah,
I'm in the pool, I'll have a beer cheaper. And so you go happy hour, and a cocktail would be anywhere between, say, $4 Australian and $6 Australian. So, €3, €4
yeah.
for a cocktail, €2 to €3, that sort of price. So, and you can only drink so much at my age. We have about 3 cocktails over a couple of hours, and that's happy
Then you're
days.
good.
I think a beer,
Then you're
a
ready for
beer,
bed.
like, like a bottle of Chapman, which is the local beer there, was, I think, 80 Thai baht, which is about $2.50 Australian. So, or, €150, something like
Yeah.
that. So really cheap to do what you want. Even when we did pay a bit for a meal, we went to this place called Naughty Nuri's, and it's a rib place, and they actually have one in Bali that we'd been to as well. So we went in all guns blazing and opted for the open rib rack. So you could get anything off the menu. So basically, it became a buffet. So you paid a price, which was, even at that stage, I think it was $38 Australian, so about €19, about €18, €19, and you could eat as much ribs and whatever you wanted. So even at that price, that's still a pretty good deal, I thought. And that was probably the most expensive meal that we had. So I tried to eat as much as I could, and I had about 4 racks of ribs, and I didn't have anything else. So I was like, I'm just eating the meat because they want me to eat the garlic bread and they want me to eat the potato to fill up, but I'm just eating the meat. I'm getting me money's worth. So yeah, pretty damn cheap Thailand. Like if you want to go to Thailand, you don't really need to spend a lot of money in Thailand, I don't think. It's just the
No,
expense of getting there, I guess, if you're coming from Europe.
yeah, yeah. It's and from from Europe, there's literally, I mean, I think even from Munich, there are like two daily Boeing
Yeah.
747s, from one of the big
Yep.
travel agencies that just going there.
Yep.
As you said, there are many Germans.
Yep.
How are the Russians behaving at them? Because one thing I noticed when I was there was, as you said, there's a lot of Russians, and they weren't particularly, let's say, used to how you behave in those sort
Yeah.
of communities, because they would throw like their trash just on the street. They didn't care. We saw a family with a kid, and he just got a new toy gun or something. He just ripped it out of the plastic and just threw the plastic on the street, and the parents didn't bother to pick it up.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you.
Okay. And I just said,
but no, I didn't really notice. I didn't really notice any of that at the resort. I find them very standoffish, though. Like none of them are very friendly. Put it that way. Like I find them a bit like that. But yeah, I don't know. Without sounding, well, no, I don't like. Opening to talking, or things like that. I find them a bit stiff or rigid, I would say, whereas they just sort of think to themselves, and I make a point sometimes to walk past people and I say, hi, because that's what Australians do. We like having a act to people. So, but I guess if you're going on a holiday and you might not want to talk to anyone, that might just be your thing. You just might want to disconnect from the world and, do your own thing, and that's fine.
Yeah,
as well. So
I think in Thailand you can do pretty much whatever you want to do. There's room for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing though was we were in the pool at this resort on the second day, and we heard some Australians talking, and we're just sort of listening into their conversation to see if we could, pick up where they were from, what they were doing. And in the end, they were from a town 20 kilometres from where we live.
Oh. Which is 20 kilometers is nothing in your area. That's just literally around the corner.
Actually like the next town over, one of the next towns over. So yeah, it was quite funny that happened. So, but that seems to happen quite a lot, I think, if you ask people. And yeah, so I met a few Australians there. There was, I would say, I don't know. I would say there was probably 5% Australians, and I would say 95% were European. I would think.
Yeah.
Didn't hardly hear any Americans at all. Like I said, a few Australians, because everyone had bought the same package that I had went on with this travel agency called Travel Online. So everyone was buying the package because it's nice and cheap in winter. Apparently, this resort, if you go in December or January, is double the price. So they make it really cheap because it's wet season, so not a lot of people. The demand is lower, so it was pretty cheap this time of year, but apparently it doubles in price. So so that was Thailand in 15 days, done and dusted. So I've had better vacations, better holidays. It is what it is, but I'm having this real epiphany about this, like about there, and even the holiday we went on in January. I feel like I'm just retracing and redoing things that I've done before, and it's all sort of just mashing into the same thing all the time. So I don't know. I need to.
Would you say that you, travel-wise, you are at a place where you're ready to shift gear, sort of, do something completely different? Yeah.
I am. So at this stage, me and Rebecca are going to go to the Harbin Ice Festival in northern China in January in minus 30 degrees.
Wow.
So I said, that's it. I need to go and do something different, something that's a little bit challenging. something
Yeah.
that's not just familiar. I need to go and do something. So let's go and do that. It's on my
Yeah.
bucket list. It's been something I've wanted to do. So we're going to hit northern China, in the fourth coldest city in the world, and go to their ice festival in January. So
In January. Wow, I've heard about I've seen it online on YouTube and stuff,
yeah,
so I'm really curious about what you're going to see there because
yeah.
yeah, it's
I've been watching
the,
some videos. They create ice versions of the Colosseum and temples. Obviously not in scale of the Colosseum, but
yeah, yeah.
still partial scale of massive big buildings out of blocks of ice and
Well,
things like that. And
the Chinese, they like to make an impression, don't they?
they do,
For
they
tourists.
do.
Yeah.
So I went as far as booking a hotel there yesterday. I'll probably book some flights in the next month or so, and we'll lock it in. So we're going to go for a month. We might do a month in China and Vietnam in January, and
Wow.
then hopefully I'm just going to sit it out until next October, and then I think we're going to go for 12 months. That's still on the planning board. So yeah, so that's
Yeah,
what is
wow.
going to happen at
So
this
so
stage because
so so that Vietnam China thing, you could actually get, both a bit of heat and a bit of cold within one trip.
yeah. Well, if we stay northern Vietnam, in Hanoi, which I haven't been to Hanoi since early 2019, it's about around 18 in January, which is
Oh,
okay. So
okay.
that's nice and cool. But we might end up going down to the middle as far as Da Nang, and where it will be warm down there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're probably going to go like Harbin, and then we're going to whip over to Chongqing, Chongqing, which is the biggest city in the world. Like 38 million people live there or something, and
Yeah.
we might whip over to Chengdu and go and see the pandas again, and down to a city called Kunming, which is at the bottom of China. And from there, you can get a fast train to the Vietnamese border. It takes about 3.5 hours, and you can walk over what's called a friendship bridge, and then you can grab a train from the other side in Vietnam and be in Hanoi in 3 hours. So yeah, so there's some plans afoot to do that. Sounds a little bit different. Be a lot of train riding and just a lot of actually having to think about travel again and do things for yourself and jump on trains and jump off trains and organise
Yeah.
things. My head's exploding with going to places where I'm just walking along the beach and drinking cocktails and not really doing too much more. Too much vacationing and not enough travelling.
Yeah, as much as as nice as it looks in the advertisements and just
Yeah,
lying on the beach and the palm trees and it's just
that's not for
after a
me.
while for people like you and me, Mark, after
Yeah,
a couple of days it's just come on.
yeah.
There must be more to it
No.
than this.
And China for me is always the ultimate challenge, even though we've been there before. The fact that still not a lot of people speak English, yeah, it's potluck with the food because you can't read the recipes. And even when it translates, it still might be something else. So, yeah, I just felt I needed to get back into that sort of challenging area where I had to, take a leap of faith in certain areas, and just go, okay, let's just try that, or, let's just do that. We know it's going to be cold at -20, and we know it's probably going to be, for us, it'll be miserable because it is so cold, but,
Yeah,
that's part of it all. That's part of the challenge, is going somewhere out of your comfort zone, that you don't know well. You never know until you step outside the box, do you? And
exactly.
that's
That's
just
that's exactly
the
it.
way it becomes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I'm
So,
looking
so
forward to
yeah.
hear that. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So we're going to go there. We might actually go to Bali though in October or September for a week, but that's more to do with creating content than
Oh yeah,
anything else. Going to Bali,
for the Facebook
yeah, and
website.
things like that. So
Yeah.
I'd be quite happy to give Bali a miss, but it works well, YouTube wise and things like that, and so yeah, and it's cheap. We can go to Bali for a week for $2,000 with accommodation and airfares. So it's rather cheap. So yeah, I think we'll probably go to Bali maybe in September or October for a quick week just to do some filming and things like that, and and then to China and Vietnam in January, and then probably nothing until October, and then hopefully then we're going to take off in October, I think, and head off for 12 months and see where it takes us. I think we're going to start in. I'm going to start in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Wow.
It's a bit
Of all
random,
places.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to chase. I'm trying to chase the not so bad weather around. Like I don't really want to be stuck in snow and things like that. So, and Rebecca wants to go to Greece for an extended period, like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So I'm going to go to Baku, going to go to Tbilisi in Georgia, then on to Istanbul, and then into Greece. But by then it'll be, you know, December or November, and I mean, in Greece, as long as you're along the Mediterranean in Europe in winter, it's not too bad. It's 18 degrees, 15 degrees, things like that. It's not, minus in the snow, and that's the sort of thing I'm looking for. So yeah, so
But
that's the plan.
you've never been to like Baku. It's just one of those.
No.
It would be unique content for your website, I would say,
Yeah,
because
definitely, definitely.
that's not some. I think they're hoping that tourism will rise there.
Yeah, I
So
haven't had one race there.
and they would certainly be make an effort to
Yeah,
welcome foreigners.
yep. So yeah, so I've always wanted to go to Tbilisi in Georgia. So we might go. Some places will go quick. Some places I can't travel every week though because that costs too much to start off with.
Yeah, yeah,
But some places will be a short trip like Baku for a week. But then if we go to Tbilisi in Georgia, I might stay there for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then Istanbul for a week, and then we might stay in Athens for 3 or 4 weeks or something like that, and go to some islands and other places
yeah.
around in Greece and things like that, and then I might go up to Albania. Maybe we're talking about that, and then maybe across to Italy. I wouldn't mind going to Sicily, so I'd like to go to Palermo
Yeah,
and Catania and things like that, and
we could
and
even
then I don't know.
meet up in Italy because we enjoy Italy very much. And
I'll keep you in touch then.
yeah, because and then we could meet somewhere in Italy
Yeah,
because we Alex and I are talking about that will be in 1.5 years from now, more or less.
yeah. End of next year.
End of next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
So Anton will be around 18
yeah,
when you hit Europe.
yeah,
So Alex and I are thinking, just renting a small car and just go for a couple of weeks on the
yeah.
small roads down through Italy.
Yep.
Just her and I, and that will be perfect to meet up with you guys. So
Sounds good. Yeah, I've been
yeah,
looking into all this. You can catch a ferry from Albania across to Bari in Italy, and then a train or a bus or a boat down to Sicily way. So yeah, and then I might go to Malta. Maybe I haven't been there either. Malta interests me as well, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
then eventually sort of on from there to maybe I don't know, maybe London, and then to South America. So
Oh yeah, and then from
yeah.
South America back to Australia, that way around.
Possibly, and then, but that I only want to spend maybe that would take about 7 months, I reckon. But then, if we
Yeah,
come back to Australia, we might just come home for a week and then go back to Asia because we'll pretty much have skipped all of Asia. And I want to do Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. So, but I didn't want to do them in the winter either because they get really cold and snowy as
yeah,
well. So I've sort of tried to pick my way around where the weather will be, more mild than snowy.
yeah,
Originally, I wanted to go to South America first, but yeah, Rebecca wasn't overly keen going there first. Like she said, well, because we want to go to a few places at altitude. She's like, what if we go there and we get sick, or something like that? You get altitude sickness. You have to come home straight away. So I was like, well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So let's go and do some other stuff. Let's go to Europe and get the things out of the way that she wants to do. Like she's forever wanted to go to Greece, and I've never ever got her there. So I said, okay, let's go, and we'll start that side of Europe, and and then we'll go to South America after that. So we might go like Buenos Aires for a month in Argentina, or 3 weeks, and Lima in Peru, Cusco in Peru, La Paz in Bolivia, which is like the highest capital city in the world at 3,200 meters or something like that. So I want to go to a stack of places that I've never been. Like, when we normally travel now, because it's always a constraint on time and budget, we lob in Asia a lot because it's cheap and it's quick and it's easy to do. So, I want to go to some places that I've never been. And there'll be a lot of places, nearly every place I've mentioned to you so far, I've never been except for London, which so that's the goal at this stage, is to go and do that for 12 months. So pretty much mapped out some travel for the next couple of years, and we'll go and see what happens, I guess, because our kids will be both well and truly past. By the time we go, Marley will be 19 and a half, and Willow will be 22 or something like that. So
they don't want to travel with you. Well, maybe because they could.
I don't want to travel with them for 12 months, to be honest.
No,
not
anymore.
I know that sounds mean. No,
it's those days are gone. Those days are absolutely.
I enjoy traveling with my wife and not having to worry about what they want to do or things like that. So I don't mind going on a short holiday with them still, and I love my kids and I'm happy to go on,
of course,
2 weeks to Bali or 2 weeks to Thailand or somewhere like that. But I don't want to go on a 12-month trip.
No, it would be
either of them.
You know what? It would be torture for you all.
Yeah, it would be. So
and a waste of money.
Speaking of 18-year-olds, Marley turns 18 in 2 weeks' time and is going for a driver's license. That's scary in its own self that she'll be driving around on the roads. So scary for us, probably more as parents. That that's just another thing you can't control, isn't it? When they're out driving by themselves. And I always say to her, it's not much that I don't trust you. It's generally the other people on the road that I don't trust. So.
That's the,
that'll be.
It's funny you say this, because when Anton was learning to ride a bike, which you do here in Europe with bike riders, and he was not paying attention to rules in traffic, and I said to him, and he said, well, they're not the cars are not, because when you drive along the biking lanes here in Munich, cars coming from the right are actually supposed to stop for you. And he knew that. And he said, they're supposed to stop for me. Yes, I know, but you're the small here. So you can, if you're dead, you can't really complain. It's just, it's you I'm worried about. It's not the others. I was worried about him, his safety. And I was concerned that, car drivers wouldn't pay attention to him, and they don't. So it's you have to look out for yourself.
It's one of them scary things when they get older, like now at this stage. She is, like I said, Willow doesn't drive, and she's nearly 21. She doesn't want a license, but Marley was keen from the get-go to get behind the wheel of a car, and went to work and made enough money, and she bought herself a Renault a few weeks ago. So she's got a car, paid about $10,000 for this Renault that she likes, and so she's got the car sitting there. In Australia, you have to do I don't know if you have to do this overseas. You have to do 120 hours of driving on your learner's permit before you can get your drive by yourself. And even then, for the first 12 months, there's still restrictions. She can only drive with one friend in the car for the first 12 months. You can have as many family members in the car, but you can't have more than one person that's not related to her. So it's just to stop kids getting their license and then piling their cars full of friends, and going out and, for ones that want to show off and, speed and, do whatever they do. So, so for the first 12 months in Victoria, you can only have one friend in the car that's not your boyfriend. So there's all these stipulations. So if you've got a boyfriend or a partner, then you can have them and one other person. But in general, you can have as many family members as you like, but not just random friends in the car for the first 12 months after you get the license. Just to,
that sort of makes sense.
120 hours is not a lot of driving experience, really. Like I get in the car with Marley, and I know she drives okay, but it's just the little things that you do as an experienced driver, like the way you park or the way you turn or the way you things like that they don't.
It comes with experience, and I got to say, when you get your permit, you are allowed to drive, but you're not really a skilled driver. And
No, of
that's
course not.
that's when you have to learn how to,
Yeah,
build up your experience
that's right.
and not having an instructor, a teacher sitting near you and comment on your driving.
Yeah,
It's just, and that's how you get it under your skin, so to speak.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, and you do. So yeah, so that will be that'll be an experience, I guess, when that happens in 2 weeks' time. So she's
Wow.
booked in to go for a license on the day of her birthday, the very day she turns 18. Couldn't wait a day longer. She's like,
Yeah.
"I'm booked in and I'm going." I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
then, no worries."
Exactly.
And then 2 days after that, she's going to Bali by herself with a friend. So yeah, so she's full
Cool.
speed ahead at 18. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
2 days after, I'm going to Bali for a week with a friend. So
Well,
I'm like, good,
she's got a
go.
place to go for good advice, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess these things happen when you drag them around the world. Willow reckons she's going back to China in October just for a holiday for a month. So yeah, so everyone's on the move, I guess. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
We'll
did
see
you
what happens.
did you get to well, you were away because it seems like the FIFA World Cup is starting in the US and
Yes.
Mexico and Canada
Yep.
I think it's
Next week,
coming
isn't it?
Saturday this week.
Yeah.
And I can't really see anywhere if they actually sold out the tickets or if someone bought up all the tickets in order to raise the price. I think it's the last case because never in the history of a FIFA World Cup has it been as corrupt as it is.
No, for sure.
It's just like a disaster. And it's not for the good of the sport, is it?
It's not for the common person. It's not for the soccer fan, is it? Like I was reading the other day that you're not even allowed to take a water bottle in there, so then you can't refill it, or anything like that. You've got to buy a bottle, in there, and that would be because Coca-Cola's the sponsor, I bet.
Of course,
and they'd be like, no one's bringing any water in here, and it's crazy. They're like their own corrupt government, FIFA, aren't they?
They are.
That's madness,
And Trump and the FIFA chief Infantino, they're like this,
Yeah, like that.
So no, it's a disaster, and here in Europe, people are saying we're not going, and I don't know anyone who's going. I hardly know anyone who wants to watch. Of course, being in Germany, eventually, if things go well, we will be watching.
We'll watch, of course, as everyone does.
Yeah. But it's I've rarely seen as little excitement building up as this year, because normally you would have like weeks of excitement building up, and this time around it's
pretty much under the radar, isn't it?
Yeah,
public-wise, publicity-wise. I didn't realise either that it started till this weekend. I was watching some highlights of Australia versus, I don't know who we played, someone yesterday. Austria, I think we played in a warm-up game, and I didn't realise that it had started this weekend until I was watching the highlights of Australia versus Austria, and they're like, well, Australia played Turkey, I think, on Saturday or Sunday or something like that in the first round. So, I was unaware I knew it was coming, but I was unaware it started this week. So that's how little sort of publicity there is around it in general. So, it's quite bizarre, isn't it? So
it is, and it really should be something for the sport fans and.
Well, I really hope that Australia's actually in America's group, and I hope we beat them, because I've been watching all these American pundits say, if we can't beat Australia, we don't deserve to be playing football and all this sort of shit like this. So I'm like, okay, we need to beat them. Just to say we beat them. They need to go out in the group stage, America.
Yes,
let's just
exactly.
Get rid of them. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Have you seen I think I've mentioned it before here on the podcast. Have you seen the series Welcome to Wrexham It's on Disney.
Like in the Wrexham, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have.
I enjoy that show
Um,
because it really shows how important a football club can be, the sport,
yeah.
what it can mean
Yeah.
to local community.
Local towns, yeah.
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 So
Is that on
and
is that on Disney in Europe?
here in Europe. I think it's Hulu
Okay.
is
Which is
producing it.
Disney anyway.
Yeah.
Disney own Hulu, yeah. It's on Disney
Yeah.
Plus in
Yeah.
Australia. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So yeah, I get like they make some fantastic sports documentaries
Yeah.
like these days. So there's some really good ones. Like I like the F1 one. Obviously the Drive
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Survive
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
really good. Because they're not all just about the sport. They're about all the stories and the things
Exactly.
that go on behind the
What it means,
scenes and the intrigue.
what these types of sport mean to
Yeah,
local economy. I mean,
yeah,
it's really, and this is why I'm not a big fan of wealthy Saudi princes
yeah,
buying up clubs in Europe and stuff, because it really ruins the local spirit, and the fan bases, and also what it also ruins is because here, particularly here in Munich, we know that the smaller clubs, they sort of breed the talent. There's a lot of talent
yeah,
coming from the grassroots and the small,
yeah,
the youth clubs and stuff, and they eventually end up in Bayern München.
yeah.
But they start somewhere, and
Yeah.
if
Oh,
it's just in all the rich guys getting in overspoiled players from anywhere in the world to
yeah,
Paris or to somewhere in the Middle East,
yeah.
it's just not the same. It's just not the
No.
same. Yeah,
Documentaries is just in general on streaming services are just so big these days. Like
yeah, they
there's
are.
probably more documentary sort of shows or investigation type shows on Netflix and Amazon and channels like that now than there is nearly shows and movies. Like every second, well, I don't know about what you see there, but Rebecca watches. That's all she watches is like sort of documentary style
It
stuff,
is, yeah.
like
But
all the
it's
time. Like
it's nice. It's nicely filmed.
yeah,
Nicely edited and nicely commented. It's just
yeah,
it's just good TV, and
yeah.
it's not full of war and a
No,
disaster, and
that's it.
so
That's
it's
it.
sort of a little more peaceful to
No, and
yeah.
it's good. Like I've watched one last night actually on Kylie Minogue. Do you know Kylie Minogue?
Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Australian,
Okay.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Australian. Yeah. Okay. So Netflix. I don't know if it's worldwide, but in Australia anyway, they've done like a 3-part series
I think
on
it's
her
here as
career.
well. I seen the
Yeah,
thumbnails. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that we were watching last night. So that was that was quite interesting because she was obviously in my teenage era. Like I think she was,
yeah,
her first stuff came out, sort of late 80s, that Poppy Stock Aitken and Waterman stuff when Rick
yeah,
Ashley and
yeah.
people like that, Bananarama were, bouncing around, So yeah, I found it quite interesting. It was well filmed. There was, lots of clips and interesting bits that they knew people would like, a fair bit of one episode focused on, her relationship with Michael Hutchins from INXS because she was
Oh
with him
yeah,
for
yeah,
2 or 3 years. So there was a fair emphasis on that but she also was happy with that, because she talked about him a really lot during the doco and referenced back to him a lot of times that he basically helped her, taught her,
yeah,
embraced her for being her, didn't want to change her music style, even though he was a rock
yeah.
star. Tell her she was doing anything wrong, just really supported her and embraced her style and told her to, own it and, live it and and things like
Exactly.
that. So yeah, it was quite a good doco.
Oh, well, I'm gonna watch that then.
Yeah, they
We're
gave her like
we're currently watching Stanley Tucci in Italy. He's an
the
actor.
cooking one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen some of that one. Yeah.
It's also very nice. The thing about if there's food involved and they go to restaurants, those restaurants, they have a tendency to raise their prices significantly after they've been on a show, so
of course they do. Yeah. I must admit, I used to be a big fan of like the Anthony Bourdain shows. I really like. I really could relate with him because he used to go and he'd be down in beers and eating food, and in back alleyways and things like that. And that's the sort of thing that I envisage myself being like sometimes.
Yeah.
Not quite as
he's not around anymore.
But yeah.
I think he played a little too hard.
I think he did. He did. He killed himself, I think, in the end.
Yeah. It wasn't a healthy life.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'm sure he had a fun life while it lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Mark, we've been at it for about an hour. So, this has been great fun again. Let's really try to do it next week again. It's always good. You're not traveling for the foreseeable.
No, I'm going nowhere now. I am home and host for a while.
It's winter. It's winter now, isn't it?
Yeah. It is winter. Even though I had some shorts on today, it was quite warm at one stage. It was about 18 degrees, but it was about 11 degrees on Monday and Tuesday, though, so it has been up and down, but that's cold winter for us, 11 degrees.
Yeah,
so I had a beanie on and jumper and pants and all sorts of keeping warm stuff, but yeah.
You got to train for that Chinese experience there in next year.
Well, I do. I need to buy some warm clothes, that's for sure. I've had some winter stuff locked away here in a box in my shed since we were in Europe in 2019 in winter. So I'm hoping I haven't put on much more weight and it still fits me, or I'll be out having to buy a new Columbia snow coat and shit like that. So we'll see what goes. But, it'll all be fun. Okay, then I will talk to you during the week. I'll message you and we'll tee up a
exactly
next
right.
week and we'll go again.
Say hello to the family.
Mate. Say hi to your family. And I'll talk to you
too.
Soon.
Bye.
Cheers, Anders. Bye, mate.
Bye.